you guys next story. So this Porsha&Simon, who it looks like she's about to be back to Porsha Williams, this divorce with Simon, let me just tell you guys that news came out the Friday that I got out of the hospital. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't do Top of the Blogs, but I am going to go out here and do this Top of the Blogs extra for Porsha. This would have been my third Top of the Blogs extra for Porsha. And I came out here and I did the video. And then I went into the house to edit the video, and I still had on my medical ID bracelet. And most of the time I was like this, and my ID bracelet was right here, and you guys could see all my personal information. I was like, fuck. And there was no way for me to edit it out or blur it out because my hand, you guys know I talk with my hand, so my hand was all over the place. It was just entirely too much work, right? So I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it again. So I ended up going back out there and I did the video a second time. And when I went to go edit the video, I realized, Roxanne, you cannot put this video out. I don't know if it was because I had just got out of the hospital. I was like so irritable when I got out of the hospital that the shit that I was saying in that video, I probably would have got canceled. Like, it was so off brand for me. It was things that I never would say. I just knew that I was not in the mood for Porsha and Simon's bullshit that day, you know, and I had to have a talk with myself like, Roxanne, you can't put this video out. You are now in no condition to be on anybody's camera right now because you got too many things emotionally going on with you that you're worried about, that you're mad about, you know, and you cannot do this, okay? So even though I know that video would have made me a good amount of money, I just had to say, no, I'm not doing it, you know. And even on Monday, I thought that I was ready to get out here and do my Real Housewives of Potomac video, and wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. I was gonna get up here and I was gonna say some mean shit, you know, and that's really not me. But when I'm in a bad mood, I am not the same person that you guys see now, and I was not in a good mood last week, so I just scratched that whole video. And I'm glad I did, because now that I've watched what's been going on for the last week, I don't, first of all, I told you guys that I forgave Porsha, and I have. You know, Porsha ain't worried about what I feel about her anyway. But in order for me to feel like I could even watch the next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, I was going to have to get over this hurdle with Porsha. Okay? But deep down inside, I still feel like Porsha and the decisions that she's made in the past has not made her look good. And I don't know what to make of this situation. I don't know if this is something that she planned. You know, sometimes we'll think that Porsha is just like this mastermind. You know, we'll think that she's got all these things figured out. I'm not sure if this was something that she planned. Like, okay, she was with this man and it ain't going well, so now she's decided to go back to Real Housewives of Atlanta and she's gonna make this big splash and all that. Or if this is simply a woman whose life has fallen apart. She thought that she found her forever after. She seemed like she was so super happy with him, and maybe she just found out that this nigga was nothing more than a fraud and a lie. Now, I don't know why she didn't think that before, because the talk about Simon has always been around. Ever since he came on the scene and it looked like these two was going to try to get together, everybody has talked about how he was a scammer and he was a this and he was a that, okay? But yet and still, she still continued to move forward, and I was like, girl, if you like it, I love it, I guess, okay? But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if Porsha got caught up in just the whole fairy tale of it all and just loving the fact that it was a different culture. And you guys know the African culture is so rich with all these different traditions. And that was something that she just loved, the whole, you know, my queen and all. I don't know if the girl fell for the okie doke or if she just was like, okay, I'm about to be with this man, and you know, as long as he gonna do me right and give me my money and treat me good and do whatever I want to do, you know, she was gonna be happy with him. But it's starting to look like more and more Porsha was blindsided about Simon and what he was involved in. You know, at first the talk was about, oh no, this is a business plan. This is a way for her to separate her money from his money, and you know, so she won't get in trouble when I was like, but isn't he already a citizen? I mean, they can't, I don't know, can they deport him? I thought that he wasn't, well, he's not a citizen, but they've let him stay here permanently. Okay. I still am not clear on what exactly is going on with him necessarily being a citizen, him suing the government, deportation. I don't know what's going on with all that. But at first I thought that Porsha knew about that stuff and just decided to turn a blind eye to it because now she had this man that was rich that wanted to take care of her. But now it's starting to look more and more like, no, Porsha didn't know that he was out there moving like this either. And now she's like, no, I'm getting a divorce. I'm moving my name back to Williams, and I need you guys to enforce the prenup that we have in place. Thank God that girl had a prenup. Okay? Thank God that girl had a prenup. She was smart enough to do that. Okay? And I think that they are going to just they're going to grant that prenup because they ain't even been married long enough for them to acquire anything together. But this right here, there's so much that can be said about this situation. I mean, you can go oh, you marry somebody for richer, for poor, for sickness and health, you know, good times and bad times or whatever. You can go that route and say, well, girl, I mean, this was the man that you decided that you loved to death and you supposed to stick by his side no matter what. Yeah, the nigga out there shady, scamming, taking money, suing governments, marrying women, taking dead people's social security numbers. You took a vow to be with this man. I don't know what African traditional vows are, but I know in Christian vows, you know, I just told you what is expected of the job, you know. And so I could say like, oh, girl, well, if you love the man the way that you say you did, why you not sitting up there and staying married to him and dealing with this together? Okay, didn't you tell us this is how you treat your man? You know, we saw you rubbing his feet and feeding him grapes and shit, you know. And so it's like, you could say that, or you can just be like, girl, maybe this wasn't the lick that you thought it was gonna be, and turns out that you got more money than this nigga here. Or you can just be like, you know, Porsha, maybe you got caught up. Maybe you got caught up and you thought that it was something that it wasn't. And you put all your eggs in this basket. You went and quit all your damn jobs. You was like, I'm going to be a taken care of woman, an African queen to this man. You know, I don't really know what Porsha's thinking was, but now it's all falling apart. Now it's all falling apart. What made me really realize that maybe this wasn't a you know, scheme that Todd set up was that Andy said that they had no idea that this was coming down the pike. This is why we think that this shit just happened instantly, because just a week ago, Porsha was just a week, you know, a couple of weeks ago, when the story came out, just a week before that, Porsha was posting how much she loved her husband and all of that. And then all of a sudden it was like, we getting a divorce. So it was almost like they must have had one good big fight one night. And she found out all of this shit. And she was like, you know what, motherfucker, I am divorcing you. You is not fixing it. And one thing I can say that I love about women, that when they make up their mind, like, bitch, we ain't about to be all this back and forth and shit. Okay? Nah, nigga, it's time for me to check out. It's time to go. All right? When women realize that ain't no use in me sitting here trying to work some shit out with a liar and a cheat and a thief and all of that, you know what? Good. So Porsha was just like, I guess Porsha was just like, nah, nigga, I'm getting a divorce. And she announced that shit the next day. She is not gonna get one up like she was with Cordell. Remember, they was still in the same place, and she said she read that she was getting a divorce and he was in the kitchen. Okay, he ain't said nothing to her. She probably was like, oh no, never again that, you know. So I don't know, you guys, it's really difficult because I do like Porsha, but I always felt like Porsha still had it coming. For her to come on the show and her to be this proud wife, and, you know, she was going to have to face the backlash. Now we had thought that because Kenya and Porsha was going to be on the show. We were going to try to have this friendship dynamic and, you know, her just being this fabulous wife and all of that. Like, we thought that that's what it was going to be. But now it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. It looks like Kenya is still going to be sympathetic to Porsha. I feel like Porsha still is getting away with it because now people feel sorry for her. But it's just sort of like, well, Porsha, I mean, the way you moved in that whole situation was not good, you know, and you guys know how hard I struggle with that because I don't like when women take friends. I don't. That is just a pet peeve of mine. And yeah, I know, her and Fallon ain't friends, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I still just, I didn't like the way that whole thing went down. And I don't know if it's egg on Porsha's face or if she just knew it was coming. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I guess she dodged the bullet as long as the courts don't make her give him any money. And that looked like he might be hoping for something like that, you know, but as long as the courts don't give him any money, like, it's just like, so I'm just like, honey, all that glitters is not gold. All right. These men will have you thinking they got a whole bunch going on and just straight up lying right in your face. But again, I feel like Porsha ignored many of the red flags because these stories about Simon has been all over Atlanta for years. And those party promoters, Alice Goodwin, all of them, there's always been talk about them, you know. So for her to just feel like, you know, I mean, I guess hindsight is 2020, right? You now she probably is just like, well, I fell for it. Yeah, girl. Now I hope that man don't get some of your money. Okay. But it's a lesson to be learned there. We'll see what happens on Real Housewives of Atlanta, though. I know somebody on there is going to tease her about that relationship. If it's not going to be Kenya, it's going to be somebody. Right now, they're getting this cast together. I know Drew is supposed to be back. Sheree is supposed to be a friend of the family. Friend of the show. Marlo and Sonia, we know are out. And they're bringing a couple of other girls on. One of them being Kenya's really good friend. You know, the very light-skinned, tall, like glamazon friend that Kenya has. I think she's going to be, they're saying that she's going to be a housewife. And there's another girl. And also Shamia is going to be a housewife. So good for Shamia. And I'm glad her husband finally agreed to be on the show. I hope that it don't be so much speculation into their relationship that it brings drama there. You know, they have a sick child that they're working on. So don't nobody need that kind of drama in their life. So hopefully people, you know, hopefully her storyline, whatever it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be to support Porsha. Okay. But hopefully that'll work out for Shamia. I think Shamia deserves that peach. But yeah, I don't know, child. I just was like, girl, what can I do? Like, I told you don't do this shit in the first fucking place, you know? Now it's tough love. Like, girl, I don't want to see what you about to go through on the show, but people's fixing to give you the blues. Most people still really like Porsha, I think, but there are still a lot of people that really want to see Porsha go through it. And I wouldn't say that I want to see Porsha go through it, but I think that a lesson has to be learned in this situation. Okay, a lesson has to be learned. Otherwise, you're just gonna make the same mistakes again. So, but I did when that story came out. Man, I got in this car. I said a whole bunch of mean shit. It was terrible. And I was like, Roxanne, that is not even you. Why are you talking about these people like this? You know, and so I had to let it go. But you guys just let me know what you think about this. Do you think that Porsha knew that her husband was out there scamming and getting away with it all this time? Did this catch her by surprise? Why is it that we knew about him and she didn't? Okay. Did she ignore the obvious signs, or did she just think that, because, you know, people say that Porsha, some people will still say that Porsha ain't smart, and Porsha chose to ignore it because she just wanted to be the little Barbie doll on the shelf. So I don't know. Y'all have to let me know what you think about it. But I think that Porsha could stand to just kind of be by herself, her and her daughter, and just raise your child as a single mom right now until you really find, or you don't even have to find that person, but that person ever comes in your life that you can actually have an honest relationship with. That's what Porsha probably needs to do. You know, I know that's still what she wants. She glowed in that role, okay, as his wife, but like I said, all that glitters is not gold. Okay, that shit ain't even brass. It's some old vermeil. What's the name of that damn metal that's supposed to be gold? So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think about Porsha. In the meantime, it's going to be interesting. That next season, they calling it the Sweet 16 season for Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's going to be something. I still am not sure if it's going to be good or if it's going to get on my fucking nerves. But you guys, we going to review it. We going to review it and we will be discussing. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Y'all let me know what you think about all that. What you think about Porsha. And all Simon and everything else. Leave it below. Next story up, you guys. Congratulations, I guess, are in order to Don Lemon. Honey, Don Lemon got fired from CNN last year. Remember I told you guys about it. He had said some shit about old girl, I think that's running for president. Or running for the Republican seat for president. Was it Nikki Hayes? Was it her? Anyway, he had said something about her being past her prime, and then people started coming out and saying that Don Lemon says all kind of off-color shit around the office at CNN, and he was like, you know, like the spoiled gay boy. You know, I don't mean it that way. Okay, don't take it that way, but they were trying to portray him as the stereotypical messy gay guy that would be up there talking to women crazy, not having respect for people, all of this, right? So there's probably some truth to that. You know, Don looked like he don't hold his tongue too much, and the you know, the way that the world is today, you just can't be moving like that, especially in big business conglomerates and shit. The minute that somebody find out that you still got a person that's employed there that's saying shit like that, you know, then the business comes under fire. So CNN hastily, maybe, decided to fire him. And, you know, he was like, well, damn, he had absolutely no idea. He worked that morning and then went home, and then his manager called him and told him that CNN said, yeah, you ain't got to come back tomorrow. So I guess Don was like, fuck, you know. So but what I did admire about Don is Don never let his feathers get ruffled. You know, when it happened, I remember seeing him on a red carpet, him and his husband, and he was just like, listen, I hate that it happened, you know, that this relationship with CNN, like I had no idea that anything like this was coming down the pike. However, he was like, you know, it's all good. He was like, you know, it's almost the summertime now. I'm gonna go on vacation. Me and my husband, we gonna do it up big all summer, and, you know, enjoy myself. And when I feel like coming back to these here United States, you know, then I'll deal with what's going on with CNN. But he didn't even act like it bothered him, because you know what? Don already knew, nigga, I got a contract. Okay. And that contract, I'm expecting that money. So I think Don already knew what it was. His lawyers probably was like, you know, don't worry about it, Don. We gonna get it handled. And he probably was just like, okay, bet. So Don went on, and we ain't seen Don or nothing. Now we just heard a couple of weeks ago, well, last week, Don said, why is it all of a sudden I'm getting all these hey big head messages? Okay, well, it could be because we found out that him and CNN settled for $24.5 million. I don't know if that was what was the remaining amount on his contract, but yet and still, CNN, instead of going through all of the, you know, lawsuits and shit that it could have been, CNN realized that, you know what, we got to get this man his money, and he got his money. Okay, and I just love the fact that Don never, ever, we never saw him mad. We never saw him, you know, after initially when he found out what happened. After that, he was just like, I'm chilling. It's all good. I'm fixing to go to the Bahamas, you know, because Don already knew that it was kind of some fuck shit the way that they had let him go. And CNN obviously knew that too. And $24.5 million later, Don is set. you know, and Don can write his own check. He ain't got to do another day of nothing on that damn TV, or he can. At this point, why would you? The way that the damn media and everything is, like, why put yourself back out there? I mean, I would just take a serious break. And that's probably what Don has done, you know. But Don is still young, and I'm sure he still wants to make sure that his career is you know, that of legend status. But I do believe that Don is somebody that we will always remember as a CNN anchor, and his show. I mean, I tremendously enjoyed Don's show. Yeah, sometimes he could get sassy and he could say things kind of out of turn and everything, but for the most part, I always enjoyed Don's time. Of course, we loved Don's time on New Year's. That's still, there was a good 3 or 4 years of New Year's on CNN that, I mean, I was front and center every year, because every year they would be so fucked up. And it was just funny to see these usually very buttoned up tight you know, news anchors and stuff just letting it all hang out and shit for the New Year's. If Don and Andy you know, Andy and Andy, if they were all a part of this same team but 20 years ago, boy, we'd have had a good ass time on New Year's. You know, today you can't do the things that they were doing on that show without it being some pushback. But back in even early 2000s, late 90s and everything, if we would have been having those shows with, I mean, it would have just been, it would have been golden. Now you can't be drunk. You just can't be drunk on TV. But boy, they would be so, one time it was like, and that nigga said, what? He said something about nigga. Oh, I was just like, Don, did you just say that? But yeah. So yeah, I was happy for Don, because, you know, I'm always gonna be happy when black people, when it's a come up for the black people. And 24.5 is a severe come up. So good for Don. I'm not mad at all. Next story. All right, you guys, now this story is from last week. I wanted to talk about this. There were so many stories last week that I really wanted to talk about, and I was like, damn, just missed opportunity. So we're going to throw them stories in right now. First story is about the 5-year-old little girl that was assisting her mother in giving Brazilian waxes to some 24 women in an 8-hour period. You guys, I don't really know what's going on in the world today, but I know social media got y'all so fucked up in the head some days that you can't make obvious decisions that are going to benefit you. Why would you post something? First of all, why would you be doing that anyway? When I first read the story, I don't know why I thought that child was 13. Even 13 is too young. However, you got this 5-year-old baby. Just think of any of your 5-year-old. You know, a friend right now got a 5-year-old. Do you have a 5-year-old? Can you imagine your 5-year-old down in between the legs of some big bitch pulling out the hairs out their coochie? Why would you subject your child to something like that? Why would you bring attention to a sexual part, even if it's not being sexualized? You just have to understand that. Why are you letting your child see this kind of thing? And then what the fuck is wrong with any of those 24 women who actually allowed a child of that age to be in between their legs pulling off a fucking strip of wax? I just honestly can't understand that. The woman who did this actually told on herself. She actually posted it on social media. Like, I'm gonna make a entrepreneur out of my baby. Look at my baby working hard at providing Brazilian waxes for 24 women. We worked at it 8 hours. Girl, what is wrong with you? See, so like I said, social media got people so fucked up that they lose common sense in the fact that they want some glory. They want people to look at it and be like, girl, you did that and good job and all that. People turn to social media for all of these accolades. Shout out to Nene. And they just want people to just believe that, you know, they doing things. They want folks to admire what they're doing. People use social media for so much. I be feeling sorry for people, because it's like, you are on social media trying to get this kind of stuff from strangers, people you don't even know. But you want somebody to just be like, oh, she's doing the damn thing out there. And it's just like, no, honey. You don't, why you gonna, somebody is gonna call the child services on you. That's exactly what happened. And they arrested her, because no, you should not have a kid down there in somebody's puss. Okay. And I would actually like for the officers to go and talk to all of those women who thought it was okay. Because let me tell you something, if somebody would have been coming up to me telling me, oh, my 5-year-old daughter is going to help me with, I'd have been like, girl, no, the baby can't, no, she don't need to see what's happening down here, anyway. No. But the fact that all those people sat there and let that baby do it, they all need to be fucking in trouble. And I know everybody has talked about it, but I just needed to let y'all know that I agree. Everybody need to go to fuck to jail because there is some sort of sexual child abuse up in there some kind of way. All right? I just, no. And her letting the people know, like, girl, what is wrong with you? Child, I don't understand. But yeah, I was so disgusted about that. I was just like, what is wrong with the folks in the world today when they think that a 5-year-old should be down in somebody's old stanky ass puss? Ugh. I was so disgusted. Another story that, of course, I wanted to talk about, which was like all of everything a couple of weeks ago, one Sunday, I just happened to be watching the stories on Instagram, and Tamika, I'm gonna blame you, Tamika was talking about she just had posted something that was from TikTok, and I just happened to click on it just to see what they were talking about, and it turned out to be the whole ReesaTeesa, who the fuck did I marry? And shit, it was Sunday, and I didn't have anything else to do that day, so I let the thing play, and I just left it on speaker all day, and whatever I was doing, me and Jada was putting together a Lego puzzle, I was playing my Game Boy, I was, around there putting the dishes up, I was cleaning up the house or whatever I did. Oh, girl, Miss ReesaTeesa was in the background letting us know what it is. Okay. And I enjoyed the story. I thought that she was a great storyteller. The way that my mind works, because I'm a Capricorn and also I'm a content creator on YouTube, the way that my mind works was like, fuck, all of these views that this girl is getting, I hope that she's a partner. Okay. That's all I kept saying. I said, if she's getting all these views, I think on her first video, it was 9 million, and on the second video, I think it was 14 million. Do you know how much money you make on YouTube making them kind of views if you're a partner? Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. So I was just like, man, I don't know what at the time I didn't know what the breakdown of the TikTok's pay schedule and shit was. But I was just like, if she is a partner, which I kind of assumed that maybe she wasn't, because she didn't really have no big following at the time, but then it all, of course, blew up when she did this series. But I was like, she probably is not a partner. This is a missed opportunity for her, But I had found out, oh, she is a partner. I think Tamika told me, yeah, she's a partner, she's getting paid and all of that. So I was just like, well, good for her. Well, apparently people was all in her pockets and wondering how much she made and all of this. And I was just like, wait, what? Why y'all care about what this woman, why can't y'all be happy about the fact the woman who went through all them struggles? We'll talk about the story in a second. But the woman went through all of that shit. I mean, she deserves it. It's her story. She told it. And if the fucking TikTok was going to pay her, why are we mad about that? Why y'all in this woman's pocket? So she finally came out and she said she wasn't a TikTok person. I mean, she wasn't a partner when she first started the series, but as she went further into the series, and I guess people started telling her, like, girl, you need to try to monetize this, then she applied for partnership and she got it. But then I don't know what happened, but TikTok ended up suspending her. And I don't know why she did that. To me, it sounds like TikTok just, that thing went so viral that it was so many views that even TikTok was going to have to spend a lot of money if they decided to pay her for that. And so for whatever reason, they suspended her. That's how I feel about it. Okay. I don't know if that's what the truth is and everything, but it's just sort of like, why would you guys approve her just to suspend her? And you already knew what the story was. The shit had been out already, So I never understood how she violated TikTok policy or whatever, but they suspended her. So they got out of having to pay her. Even though one of the Roxstars told me, Roxanne, I had a video that went viral and had millions of views, and she said they made $35. I said, 35? Man, what? You guys over there on TikTok with all these millions and millions and hundreds of thousands of views, and y'all only making pennies on the dollar. I already posted this on Instagram, but I have to say it again to you guys in person, that you hustling backwards. Okay, I think TikTok is for fame and YouTube is probably for money. Okay, I have never been able to join the TikTok craze because, one, I don't trust it. You know, they done already said TikTok over there stealing everybody's information. Okay, and secondly, I never understood how the pay schedule was, but now the pay structure was. But now when you tell me that this woman, I'm talking about millions and millions of views at this point, ain't making a dime on that, yeah, TikTok ain't right for that. Okay, that ain't right, because all them people view that, pay that lady her money. But whatever. The sad part about it is that it was a missed opportunity all around, because everything blew up so quickly that this woman didn't have no time to really do anything. But you have to remember that people on YouTube, honey, they will snatch up a video of yours and they will post it on their thing. They will monetize it and they will make money. And that is exactly what happened. Many people took her took her videos, put it on YouTube, and they made the money off of it. And at this point, it was a missed opportunity, because that was a long ass series. I never listened to it sped up. I listened to it on regular speed. So that took a good 5-6 hours out of my life that day. And I would never watch that shit again. Okay? Who's gonna watch that all over again? So even if she now decided to move all her shit over to YouTube, get monetized on you, and it doesn't even work that quickly even on YouTube. For anybody that knows, you know, in order to get monetized on YouTube now, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have so many 400,000 watch hours or something like that. Like, there's a lot of things that even though she would have hit it, but she would have only hit it if it had happened initially, not after the fact. You know, now everybody's seen the video. Nobody gonna watch that shit again. She's not gonna get the hours that she had, you know, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, it's too bad there. But yeah, TikTok only paying $35 for millions and millions. Are you kidding me? No way. Absolutely no way. I believe in working smarter, not harder. Okay, so I'm gonna need y'all to readdress that. Many of you guys that do TikTok, and y'all been telling me, oh, Roxanne, I got all these views over there, you know, millions and millions. I don't know how much you making. Okay, because that's the bottom line, bitch. Is the red line is the bottom line. I needs to know the money part. Okay, so there's that. But let's just talk about the story. I actually believe the story. People are saying that they don't believe it and all that. I think people don't believe it because the way that it went so viral. If this would have just been a woman telling her story and, you know, a few hundred people sat there and watched it and had to comment on it, then it wouldn't have been so unbelievable. But anytime something becomes a spectacular case, anytime something becomes super fabulous and all of that, then people start to raise an eyebrow and everything. But no, I don't believe that woman was lying. What was her purpose of lying? She just wanted to tell her story, and that shit took off because it was just like crazy. Do I believe that she was, I mean, she didn't deserve to be treated the way that she was, but what I will say is that, you know, ReesaTeesa and her being romanced into the idea of not having to pay her bills, you know, that is how she got sucked into that. And anybody who has been a person that has lived check to check or, you know, struggled on their own, it's something to be said about a man that comes in and just helps you. Okay? A man that can help you is what many women are looking for. All right. And that's how she got sucked in. And so when she said that he was actually paying the bills, the funny part about it is I never heard where he was coming up off of her, other than the living arrangements, maybe. But other than that, she said he was paying the rent and he was paying the utilities. So really, he was paying everything. She still was hoping, he had her believing that he was going to do more for her, but at that point he was really just paying the bills, and she was living her life on her money, what she wanted to do with her money, and that's what really swept her up and kept her in it, you know, at that. But she could have been out of that whole relationship when the first house fell through. When she found out that that man had lied and all of that, and you know, she was like, she didn't know how to confront him about it, and she was wondering if he was going to say something, and then he said, you know, it's something, a problem with the interest rate. And then she was like, I looked at him and told him, well, maybe you need to back out. That was when I knew that she was in it. I was like, girl, that was your chance. That was your chance to be like, you lying motherfucker. You know good and damn well that you did not have that damn house. Okay. And that's where she could have checked out. But that is also the part where, you know, now you got feelings for this man, even though he's a liar. And many, let me tell you, everybody, you know, there's a whole bunch of lying ass men out there, and many of them are married, you know? So, and many times women will still stay with their lying husbands. And things. So the things that she said is not all that shocking when it comes to what women accept when they really want to make a relationship work. Okay. But yeah, there were many red flags that she chose to ignore, and she continued to let him get her deeper and deeper in it. And, yeah. But I totally believed her. I believed her. I don't believe this Legion guy now. Well, he done came out now. Well, they've exposed him now. So, now he's saying he's thinking about he's thinking about suing her. I don't know how he's going to be able to do that, because, I mean, if she told the truth in the story, if this is really what happened, I mean, can you really sue somebody about that? She wasn't the one that put his name out there. She didn't put his name out there. There was a very overzealous TikTok watcher who decided to expose him and all that, you know, and that person actually could have put this woman in danger. Like, it just turned out to be a great big mess. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, she got an X5 out of it, right? The BMW people, the one that she was talking about right off of 285 that you can see up at the top of the hill right before you get over there, you know, between Perimeter Mall and Cumberland Mall. You know, they heard about the story, and they actually gave her the BMW that she always wanted, with the cherry interior and the dark blue and all of that, you know. So, I mean, you know, at least she got her car out of it. And she's probably going to get sponsored to go to London, because that was something that she wanted and all. And sometimes, you know what, you just got to take the shit that you get and move on with your life. I think now she realizes what she needs to do if she wants to go viral. And sometimes that viral moment, it was just that moment, and then you just go back to your regular life, you know. And so I was happy for her. Whatever she got from the result from that story was good for her. But I was just sort of like, okay, so it's over and everything. Now it's done. You know, it's done. But hell, I could see that being a movie. But yeah, I just was like, how is it that women just get this wrangled in, you know? But I do know that there are a lot of women that are lonely out there and just want somebody that they can share their lives with, be happy with. And it shouldn't be that difficult, I should say. You know, it shouldn't be that difficult. But it is hard. There are a lot, especially here in Atlanta, there's a lot of women here and not as many men. So, you know, a lot of women, when they get one and hang on to them, you know, that's they man, you know. But a lot of times they have to deal with shit that's not all that desirable. So I felt sorry for her, but then I was just like, well, girl, maybe it was just a learning lesson. And that shit got crazy. That shit got crazy to the point where I was almost afraid for her life. I was like, girl, all this nigga, you sure you want to do all of this? But yeah, so it was a time though. That time when I watched all of that shit, I was just like, oh, this is so good. I even had Mr. listening to it for about 3 hours, and he was like, all right, Roxanne, that is enough. Like, and I was like, well, I'm still listening, you know. But anyway, you guys have to let me know. Oh, my supervisor is emailing me, so I gotta finish. You guys have to let me know what you think about all of that. Excuse me. And sorry, next story. All right, you guys, we got news that Kim's 27-year-old Kim Zolciak Bierman, soon to be just Kim Zolciak, I guess. Her 27-year-old daughter Brielle Bierman, she's engaged. Someone has decided to make an honest woman out of her. I think the boy's name is Brian Seidel or something like that. He is a minor league baseball pitcher, I believe. He plays for, what is the team, child? Why I can't get my thoke together? My thoke. His name is Billy Seidel. And I saw a picture of the two of them together, and I was surprised. I was like, I don't know why I just struck that. I thought that this girl would be with somebody black. Okay. But yeah, she's with this white guy, and they haven't been together even a year. I think they said that it's been less than a year that they've been together, but he has proposed to her and she has accepted. And that's one less mouth that Kim need to worry about. Okay. Not really, because Brielle was already almost 30 damn years old. So Kim hasn't been paid, but you know, Kim been trying to get Brielle taken care of for many, many years. So now she ain't got to worry about Brielle. Now she just the rest of them kids, you know, but yeah, Brielle is going to be getting married, they say. I was like, boy, ain't that something? Congratulations to her are in order. I wanted to give a rest in peace to Hidia. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but I think it's Hidia Broadbent. Broadbent. She was 39 years old when she died, but she was the little girl that we found out about years and years ago, back when AIDS was still like the very scary disease. Now it is still a very scary disease, but back then when people weren't living long with AIDS, and this young girl came out, she actually was born with the virus because her biological mother was a drug addict. And so the mother had HIV, so the little baby ended up getting HIV as well. And at the time, we didn't really know much about HIV. All we knew was that it was a death sentence, okay? And it was so sad to know that this young baby, you know, who, like I said, don't choose to be here, they come into the world and they already have to fight for their lives like that. No one really expected her to live as long as she did. But I remember seeing her like on on Oprah, one of those talk shows when she was about 13, 14, 15 years old. And we were just so happy to know that she still was alive and she still was out there thriving, and that she actually went from HIV to full-blown AIDS, I believe, when she was like 5 years old. So she had not just the virus HIV, she had full-blown AIDS pretty much her whole entire life, and she ended up living like 3 decades longer than they had even expected her to live. Of course, she was one of the first people to get the AZT. I think that's the name of the drug. She was one of the first people to get that, and that was the drug that was like kind of turning it around for many people. Remember, everybody was trying to figure out why Magic Johnson was looking maybe even better than he did before we found out that he had HIV. And I think that it did go into AIDS at one time, but then, you know, then they started to say he was getting the treatment and it was undetectable, like it wasn't even in his system. And people were thinking that that Magic Johnson had like the ends because he was so rich and he was able to get to these real doctors that really was able to cure him and everything. But yeah, I didn't realize that, you know, she was now almost 40 years old. And she finally did die. Now, it is from, you know, you don't die necessarily from AIDS, but you die from complications because you have AIDS. So they believe that she had a heart attack and a stroke. And she actually had been in the hospital since last September of last year, when all of these things happened. And she's either been in the hospital or rehabilitation trying to get back on her feet. But unfortunately, she did succumb to the disease, and very sad because, you know, she was very hopeful and she provided a lot of hope for people at the time when AIDS was like a hopeless disease. Okay. I now today, you know, we get into discussions about HIV and AIDS, and I'd be like, if you had a choice between HIV and cancer, you know, the way cancer is just taking everybody out left and right, you know, I'm wondering which is the worser of the two now, you know. But yeah, I was saddened to see that, but I was happy to see that she did, you know, live her life and it had lasted way longer than anybody had predicted for her. So I don't believe she was married. She didn't have any children. Like I said, she was 39 years old. Rest in peace to Hidia Broadbent. Let's talk about Cam Newton at his Y'all know that Cam Newton is, he's a spitfire. We used to be friends with Cam Newton's family back when Joe was little and Joe was playing football, because Joe was really good friends with Cam Newton's youngest brother, Kalen. And so I knew the family. I never knew Cam because when we first moved here was right when Cam was going away to college. I remember pulling up at the house one time and Cam was out there throwing the football around with somebody else, and I was like, who the fuck is that? Okay, just a great looking kid, you know, and at the time he looked like a man because, you know, Cam Newton is 6'4", he's like a very strong, he's a good looking man, okay? And when I saw him, and then they were like, oh, that's my little 17-year-old, I was like, oh, he's a baby, okay? Yeah, Roxanne, don't look at the baby, okay? But, so I never knew Cam, but, you know, I knew his family, his mom and his dad and grandmother and brother, you know, his brother and all that. And I remember his mom telling me, like, Cam was never a punk. She was like, as a matter of fact, if football was not in Cam's life, he probably would have been in trouble. She said he was a fighter. He was always getting in trouble at school and all of that. But football was like his saving grace. Okay. And I've always remembered that about Cam. So even when I see him on his podcast and all of that, you know, I can just kind of remember how his mom said that he was, and now it makes sense that he is the way that he is today. So anyway, he was at his youth football thing, and apparently it's 7-on-7 youth football, but then there was this other program that they were playing against. The guys that were the coaches for over there, they used to work for Cam, okay? And so Cam, being who he is an extreme shit talker and all of that. So he was taunting the coaches, you know, I raised you guys and you guys get your ass whipped today. You gonna see how it feel. And he was talking a whole bunch of shit and he got into their heads. I'm sure maybe that also meant that his team was winning. But those coaches ended up getting so upset that they went and sought Cam out, and I guess they thought they were gonna jump him. Now again, Cam is 6'4" and not thin. He looks like he might be thin if you saw him, but when you see Cam in person, that is a built, strong, strapping man, okay? If he's 6'4", you know he got the wingspan. He got enough wingspan to grab up these niggas, and this is exactly what happened. They thought that they was about to jump him, and when I tell you Cam went and snatched all of them around, I mean, had them all. They could have really jumped on him, but it wasn't going down because Cam was just like, excuse me, you know, and I was just like, why y'all thought y'all was going to beat this man up? But Cam, I remember what his mom said. She was like, he was a fighter. She was like, he was a fighter all his days. So it wasn't surprising to me. And now them guys are all just like, you know, oh, we let them get in our head and, you know, we shouldn't have did that and all that. And I was just sort of like, no, you should not have done that. You are at a youth football league. Yeah, there is trash talk. Maybe Cam was doing more because Cam is Cam. But, you know, it comes with the territory. You have got to learn how to have thicker skin than that, you know. But he obviously was saying some things that was really getting to him. And, yeah, they thought that they was going to get it. But y'all saw that fight? Boy, he snatched that nigga around. So I was like, oh, what y'all thought? And all you could see was Cam. Because everybody else down here, this nigga tall, and he got that damn tall top hat on and them dreads and shit. That's all you could see. And I was just like, yeah, y'all gonna think twice. And you think you gonna jump this man, okay? It was something to see, but I was just like, ooh. I love some, you know, and then when I watched the video, I was just like, see, those are type of situations where somebody ends up getting shot, you know, because I've been out here way too long. Let me get out of here. But I kept seeing all that melee and all them people were running around, and I was just waiting for somebody to pull out a gun, because that's usually what happens. Thank God nobody got shot. But in all of that, that's how that shit happens. So yeah, I mean, I guess Cam could, you know, curtail on the shit talking and all, but I'm gonna need for the coaches to understand that you're gonna have to learn how to get some thicker skin. You're gonna have to learn how to get some thicker skin. We can't be fighting in front of the babies. What is wrong with y'all? You guys, it's so much stuff that I had to talk about, but I gotta end this. Lastly, let's just talk a couple of quickie stories. Ray J and Prinky, they say they getting a divorce. I said, listen, for the 50-11th time, we ain't fucking around with Ray J and Prinky no more. Y'all either gonna get divorced or not. Okay, y'all look like y'all was happy when you was in Vegas and Prinky was winning all her poker tournaments and everything. Maybe they've just decided to just be friends. So I can't worry about it. So whatever they gonna do, but you already know in a couple of months they gonna be back together. Congratulations are in order to Gabba Ray's TOTB. We find out that she is pregnant with twins with her husband. She's been with for some time now. What's his name? Brian somebody? Well, I want to name everybody Brian today. I can't look at my notes, y'all. I got to get out of here. But congratulations are in order for her. She looks very happy with her husband. I love Gabba Ray because I think that we have the same type of personality. Not personality, same type of humor. She's funny to me. And I like Gabba Ray. So happy for her and her husband. She's going to be having twins. Something tells me that will probably IVF involved. Not that that matters, but you know, whenever you start hearing about these celebrities having twins, it's usually because they were able to have a couple of viable babies at one time. She probably don't want to get pregnant again. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. You know, sorry for the emotions earlier. It is hard sometimes to get on here and be entertaining when you have a lot of shit going on in your life. I have a lot of shit going on right now. A lot of not good things going on right now. So, I actually have been nervous all week because I knew I needed to get back on this camera. But sometimes, you know, you be feeling like, how am I going to be entertaining and how am I going to talk to people when I already got all this other shit going on in my head? And really, honestly, when you got a lot going on in your life, all of this other shit that I'm talking about today, it don't even matter. I don't even care about any of that stuff. What matters to me is what I'm going through, you know? So I guess what I'm just asking is for everybody to kind of be understanding, because I have been way more emotional. I can cry at the drop of a hat. I've never been this way. It's almost like I don't even know myself because my hormones are just crazy. And but I like for you guys to kind of know what's going on with me. I don't be wanting people to be thinking like, Roxanne, you're getting smaller and smaller. What's going on over there? You know, we get into it. We trying to figure it out. So far, you know, nigga ain't fixing to check out. But if you've been in this type of situation before, and you know how stressful it can be when you have something, when something's going on with your body and you just don't know why. So, but yeah, I am feeling better though, you guys. I am feeling much better. That transfusion, it was like giving me life again, because honey, couldn't breathe. I could not breathe, and my heart was constantly racing. And I was like, Roxanne, you know your blood count is low. You need to go. And I was just trying to push through. But the morning that I went to the hospital, my weight was so low and everything was just crazy. And I was just like, what is going on with my body? I've got to get to the doctor. So we're going to get through it, you guys. And I'll keep you guys abreast. I'm not going to be the one that just be like, it's my business and don't worry about it. I mean, I ain't going to be telling y'all all my business, but I will be making sure, because you guys see me. And so I'm going to be making sure that I try to let people, and also alleviate people's mind, because a lot of people do worry, you know. Even though you guys don't know me like that, I mean, I would like to think that we've been talking to each other for 13 years now, and so people do care, and I realize that. So, you know, as much as I can share, I will. But it is private too at the same time. So, you know, hoping that people respect that as well. But anyway, I'm gonna get on off of here, because like I said, I've been in here too long, you guys. We do this every single week, usually. So make sure that you thumbs up the video and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars.